Welcome to another edition of What's Up with yours truly, Dr. A. Nathan Young. We're here at our Covington campus. And listen, in just a minute, we're going to go inside for our teaching part of the service. But before we do that, listen, we want to know how this message impacts you, how it changes your life, how it inspires you. We'd like to hear how God is using this broadcast in your life. You can let us know that by emailing me, Pastor Nate at myfaithbible.org. You can also mail in a letter or a card or what have you to 1148 North Columbia Street, Covington, Louisiana, 70433. You can message me on Facebook. My name on there is A. Nathan Young. And you can message Faith Bible. Just look for My Faith Bible on Facebook. I can't wait to hear from you. Can't wait to hear how our messages have impacted you and how God's changed your life through what He's doing through us. We love you. Enjoy the message. I'll see you right back here in 26 minutes. If you're joining us by television, I want to say welcome to Faith Bible Church. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you being a part of our service. We hope that you enjoy it and that you tune in again. We are wrapping up a series today called Help Me, the me that nobody sees. And today we're going to talk about anger. Anybody ever get angry? Yeah? Hey, let me ask you this. What makes you angry? Talk to me. Hard-headed churn. Change makes him angry. Slow drive. That's the third time I heard that one this morning. Slow drivers. What else makes you angry? Come on, talk to me. Sally Mae? Sally Mae make me angry. In case you don't know, that's the student loan people. If you pay them, you won't get angry. Yeah. Somebody else, what makes you angry?
Workers at fast food places be mad.
Workers at fast food places? I have an attitude too. You work me like a dog for $3 an hour. I'm gonna have an attitude when you come through. I'm telling you right now. Amen. You know what make me mad? I'm gonna tell you what make me mad. When people talk all the way through the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh! Don't nothing burn me up like people talking during the movie. We not talking right now. We supposed to be doing what?
Watching the movie.
Watching the movie. and I can't stand when people talk through the movie. We watching the movie. They got conversations going on over here about what happened at work today and this and that and this and that. And it just drives me insane. And then what really drives me insane, what really makes me angry, is they want to talk through the movie and then they want to turn around and ask you, what happened? No, I'm not telling you what happened. You should have been watching instead of what? Talking. So it's your fault you don't know what's going on. And it drives me insane when people do that. And I ain't going to say no names, Joyce. She don't think that's funny. Watch this. I want to teach you today how to be angry. How to be what? Angry. Did you say how to be angry, Pastor? Yep. That's what I said. I want to teach you how to be angry. Ephesians is what the Bible says. Be what? Angry. Did God just tell us to be angry? Yep. He said, be what? Angry. And yet do not what? Sin. Do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your what? Right. Anger. And do not give the devil a what? Opportunity. Now go back to the beginning. Watch this. Notice what it says. He says, be what? Angry. Most of the time, the problem is not that we get angry. Most of the time, the problem is what we get angry at. See, you got to learn to get angry at the right thing. There's what's called a righteous anger, and then there's what's called an unrighteous anger. Righteous anger is when I get angry at the right thing. It's the kind of anger we saw with Jesus Christ. Jesus got mad, but he got mad at the right stuff. He got mad when he went in the temple and they had turned the temple into a place of commerce. Jesus got mad and drove all the money changers out. It's called a righteous anger. The other thing is Jesus got mad. He got mad when the disciples tried to stop little children from coming to him. And he said, suffer the little children to come unto me and forbid them not the kingdom of heaven. He got mad, but he got mad at the right what? You got to get mad at the right thing. You know the problem with many of us? We get mad at all the wrong stuff. If you're a believer, you got the Jesus Christ living inside of you, certain things ought to make you angry. You ought to get angry when you see child abuse. You ought to get angry when you see communities in deplorable conditions. You ought to get angry when people get mishandled. You ought to get angry at the fact that all of these people are dying without Jesus Christ. Be angry at the right thing. It's called righteous anger. And then there's unrighteous anger. What is unrighteous anger, Pastor? Unrighteous anger is when we get mad at stuff that has us at the center. What does that mean? That means I get mad for selfish reasons. You offended me. How dare you betray me? How dare you let me down? How dare you cross me? That's called unrighteous what? Unrighteous anger. Why? Because it has me at the center of it. It's all about me. It ain't about other people. It ain't about God. It's about me. And here's the deal. Who are you that you can't be offended? Who are you that people can't let you down? Who are you that nobody can't cross you? Why you say that, Pastor? You've let people down. You've offended people. You've crossed other people. Also, you can do it to other people, but other people can't do it to you. It's quiet, Reverend. It's called unrighteous what? Unrighteous anger. Go back to my verse. Watch what he says. He says, be what? The anger is not the sin. A lot of times we're taught as if it's a sin to get angry. It's not a sin to be angry. Anger is a feeling. And God never commanded you toward or away from a feeling. Never did it. He's more concerned about what you do with the feeling. The feeling's gonna come. It just happens as a result of things that are going on. And so God doesn't command you toward or away from a feeling. Watch what he says. Get the feeling of angry, but here's the deal. When you get the feeling of angry, do not what? It's not the feeling that God is concerned about, it's what you do with it. That's why I can't stand when people tell me their kids got anger problems. Everybody got anger problems. Because everybody gets what? Your kid don't have an anger problem. Your kid got a what they do with their anger problem. And it's what they do with their anger that's the what? Problem. And when you say, oh, well, he or she has an anger problem, what you're saying is because they get mad, their behavior behind it is all right. And that's cool. That's fine. But here's the deal. One day they're going to run into a brother like me. And they're going to find out that they got people in this world who got bigger anger problems than they got. And I'm not going to be concerned about their anger problem. I'm going to be concerned about stopping them from acting out their anger problem on me. And you can coddle them and pet them and hug them and love them and call them George. I'm going to bust his head to the white meat. And then pray for him. and his anger problem. He says, be angry and do not what?
Sin.
Don't sin. It's what you do with your anger.
Yes, sir.
It ain't the fact that you get what?
Angry.
We let crazy stuff make us angry. Crazy stuff. It's like last week, we had this whole big deal. Everybody mad. Everybody was mad. Some people was mad at the president because he told everybody who wouldn't stand for the national anthem that they were SOBs. And you need to fire them SOBs as soon as you can. Everybody all mad. Then you had the other group who was mad at the people who wouldn't stand for the national anthem. And I'm sitting here going, what we mad about? Watch this. Don't make sense to be mad at the president. Why not, Pastor? What he said was wrong. Watch this. He been saying crazy stuff since he was campaigning. Whether you with him or against him, you know that. You know he say what he want to say, when he want to say it, how he want to say it, and he don't care who feel about it. Matter of fact, if you with him, that's what a lot of the folks who with him liked about him. Yeah. And the people who against him is what they hadn't liked about him from the beginning. So if you know that about him, why you get mad about what he said last week? He ain't make you mad, you made you mad. Because you know what to expect from him. And if you know what to expect from him and you allow it to make you angry anyway, it ain't his problem, it's yours. Yeah. Woo! Same thing with the folks who mad at the people who kneeling for the national anthem. They kneeling for the national anthem. Well, hey, if they want to kneel for the national anthem and protest the very thing that gives them the right to protest, guess who that's on? That's on them. What you mad for? If it's your conviction to stand, then guess what you do? Stand. Don't get mad at them. What are you angry for? You got to learn to get angry at the right stuff. Now watch this. Them standing for the national anthem, what difference is it going to make in your life? Not now. The president not calling them SOBs, what difference is it going to make in your life? Now your blood pressure all up. You around here mad, ain't having a good day at work. Your whole countenance is affected by something that shouldn't even affect you. Some of us, I saw people cutting off relationships all on Facebook. I have friends that I have deleted. They are no longer my friends because they stand with the president. I have friends that I have deleted. I wish I could see some people type when they're angry. When I be reading these Facebook posts, I be like, I bet their fingers was moving 100 miles an hour. Yeah, take that. And tore up the keyboard. For what? Why? What difference does it make? Some of us, you got people in your life that you allow to make you what? Angry. You allow them to make you angry. You allow them to make you what? Angry. You've been knowing them 40 years. You know they say stupid stuff. Come on now. You know they full of drama. Come on. You know they do crazy stuff. And yet, every time they say something or do something stupid or crazy, you get mad. For what? They're not making you angry. You making you angry. Why? You got to change your expectations. You got to learn to expect people to be who they are. And if they ain't ain't changed in 20 years, chances are. Come on now. It was like that when you married him. Don't look at him, stay here. Change your expectations. Stop getting mad at crazy stuff. So, Pastor, when I do get angry, how do I handle it? Now, notice what he says, first of all. Here's the problem with anger. He says, and do not give the devil what?
Opportunity.
When you look up that word opportunity, it literally translates to mean location or position. And what the Apostle Paul is saying here is, when you allow anger to rule your heart, when you respond in the wrong way to anger, what you're doing is you're giving Satan a position in your heart. Most of the time when we think about angry people, we think about people who have outbursts. But you know the most dangerous angry person is not the person who has the outburst. It's the person who bottles it up. The person who puts a lid on it and lets it simmer. See, you got spewers and you got people who simmer. Spewers are people who get mad and go slap off. If they mad, you gonna know it in a hurry because they letting loose. Stop looking at the people next to you. Stay up here. Y'all being messy. Y'all around here elbowing people and stuff. You did not come to the house of the Lord for that. Keep your eyes on me. That ain't the people you got to worry about. You know who you got to worry about? The people who don't say. They taught us in the streets, it's them quiet ones. You got to watch. The ones who going off and I'll do this and I'll do that, they ain't gonna do nothing. They ain't gonna bust a grape in a fruit fight. But them ones who sitting back in the cut and you messing with them, and they ain't saying what? While you doing all that talking, they done thought of 1,000 ways to kill you, man. Those are the simmerers. People who bottle it up. People who let it stew. Now watch this. A lot of us are stewers. We're simmerers. We don't let loose. We let it build up. Here's the problem with letting it build up. Is while you're letting it build up, while you're holding it in, you give place to the devil. You give him a location in your heart. What that look like, Pastor? You've experienced it before. It's Satan reminding you, don't forget what he did you last month. You know you can't let him get away with it. Yep. Don't forget how she crossed you. You know you can't let her get away with it. Wait till the time is right. And they got a lot of people around. Then get them. Don't get them right away. Save it up. Just put that in your bag. And then later on, get them. The whole time he's reminded. You trying to have a good time with the person? Trying to chill with them? Here come the enemy. You remember when they cussed you out? All of a sudden you go like this. And he like, I thought we was having a good time. Satan done brought something up from 30 years ago. Y'all ain't even know each other 30 years ago. You give him a place in your heart. So what do we do, Pastor? I'm glad you asked. James 1:19, watch what it says. It says, this you know, my beloved brethren, but everyone must be quick to what? Hear. Slow to what? Speak. And slow to what? Think. Let's go over it again. Everyone must be quick to what? Hear. Slow to what? Speak. And slow to what? Think. How come we always quick to speak and quick to anger and slow to hear? As a matter of fact, if you just get honest about it, most of the ruined relationships and ruined opportunities you've had in your life is because you were quick to speak and quick to anger and slow to hear. You're probably thinking right now of a situation where you could have saved yourself a whole lot of headache if you would have just slowed down long enough to hear, long enough to understand. How many misunderstandings have there been in your life and in your relationships because you spoke too fast? You spoke too fast, and the reason why you spoke too fast is because you got angry too what? Fast. And then when you revisited it in your mind, you done went off and upset the baby and the dog and kicked the cat. You sit down and you think about it, and you realize it was all a misunderstanding. But it's too late now. You done cussed out everybody. He says, be quick to do what? Hear. Be slow to do what? See. And slow to what? Hear. Don't get mad so fast. Don't be so quick to go off. Listen. Find out what's really going what? I bet a whole lot of your relationship problems could be solved if you would just slow down long enough to listen. See where they're coming from. See what they're talking about. It says, for the anger of man does not achieve the righteousness of who? God. Doesn't achieve the righteousness of God. The problem with anger is that you run a grave danger of being unright with God when you get mad. That's why you got to watch anger, because anger puts you in a position where you're on the edge. Somebody said when emotions run high, rationale is the first thing out the window. Some of you can relate to that. Because boy, when you get mad, you ain't trying to understand nothing. You're not trying to hear nothing. When you are there, you are what? Come on, tell the truth about it. That's why he said you got to be slow to anger. You got to be slow to speak. Why? Because you put yourself in a position when you're angry to do stuff you wouldn't normally do. To say stuff you would not normally what? Wouldn't normally say. And then next thing you know, you're in the corner crying, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to say that. You're not just like your mammy. I love your mama. You're not sorry just like your daddy. I'm so sorry. Move slow. Slow down. Learn to hear. How do I do it, Pastor? You got to learn the art of waiting. The art of what? Waiting. Somebody asked me last time we did a relationship series, they said, Pastor, do you and First Lady ever fuss? Do y'all ever have problems? Because y'all just seem like the perfect couple. I say, yeah, we have problems. She crazy. When we have heated fellowship, through trial and error, you know what we've learned to do when we have disagreements? Hit the pause button. Just because you have an issue don't mean you got to address the issue right now. Just because you have a problem don't mean you got to address the problem when. Be slow to speak. Listen, hit the pause button. Sometimes she got to go take a ride to calm down. Sometimes I got to go take a ride to calm what? Calm down. And there's nothing wrong with hitting the pause button and waiting. Why? It'll save you a whole lot of trouble. Why? Because when cooler heads prevail, you make a lot more progress. Now you can say what you need to say without cussing at them, without calling them out of their names. Now you can do it when the waters are what? Calm. But when you get angry, you get a devil a foothold. Guess what he gonna tell you? Tell him right now. Let him know what's on your mind. You better tell him or they gonna take you to play with. No, hit the pause button. If it's on your job, you'll have a job tomorrow. You done went off, acted crazy. Now you walking back in the next day. Shame. Learn the art of what? Here's the other thing. Pick your battles wisely. Pick your what? Listen, you ain't got to fight everything. Be slow to anger, he said. You don't have to get mad at everything. Said that little boy was selling a lawnmower, and a man came along, wanted to buy the lawnmower. Said the man asked the little boy if he could start it. Said the boy said, yeah. Man pulled the cord about 4 or 5 times. Lawnmower wouldn't start. So he pulled another 4 or 5 times, lawnmower wouldn't start. He finally looked at the little boy and said, does it work? Will it start? So the little boy said, yes, sir, it'll start. You got to cuss at it. So the man said, son, I don't know if you realize it, but I'm a preacher. I quit cussing a long time ago. Little boy said, you keep pulling that cord, it'll come back to you. I'm looking at some folks. You know why you stay angry so much? Because you keep pulling the cord. You keep putting yourself in situations with people. You know who they are. You know how they coming. You know they say crazy stuff. You know what to expect. And yet you just keep on pulling that cord. Every chance you get, you pull a cord. Some of y'all, you going home right now, and you waiting for him to say something crazy. Y'all hit the pause button to come in church. You ain't even been able to enjoy the service because you waiting to get back in the car so you can pull that cord. You got to pick your battles. And a lot of times something this big becomes what? This big. It started off by who left the peas on high. Next thing you know, we getting a divorce. Pick your battles wisely. Watch what God says. What's that first word? Never. God says, never take your own what? Revenge. Did he say never? Yeah. Pastor, did God just tell me to never get back at people for what they do to me? Woo. Never, Pastor? He said what? Take your own revenge. Watch what he says. But leave room for the wrath of who? God. Leave room for the wrath of God. When you take your own revenge, You don't leave God room to take up your reproach. And by taking your own revenge, what you're saying to God is, I could get them better than you can. But you know the problem with leaving it for God to handle? We scared we're not going to get to see it. Am I right about it? You want to at least let me witness it, Lord. Why? Because in our minds, if we don't get to see it, watch this, we don't get the sense of satisfaction that we're looking for. And so what we're saying to God is, I trust me with my satisfaction more than I trust you. But watch what he says. For it is written, vengeance is whose? Mine. Vengeance is whose? Mine. No, not yours. God says vengeance is his. Hey, so let me ask you, have you stolen from God lately? If vengeance belongs to the Lord and we take it for ourselves, when you take what doesn't belong to you, that's stealing. When's the last time you stole from the Lord? Some of us came in here plotting today. You can't work to get to work tomorrow, so you can steal from God. Soon as I lay eyes on them, I got a cake baked for them. God say, vengeance is what? I'll repay. Don't steal from God. It's a matter of trusting God with our feelings, with our sense of satisfaction, and knowing God can take up our reproach a whole lot better than we can. Amen? Amen. Thank you so much for tuning in and listen. Remember, the way that we do this is through your support. So while you're thinking about it, go right now to myfaithbible.org, click on the giving tab to support this ministry. You can also download the My Faith Bible app where you can keep up with our podcast and everything else. And please hear me, whenever you're in town, either Covington or Slidell, make sure you stop by and worship with us and let me know that you saw us on television first. The addresses are 1148 North Columbia Street in Covington, Louisiana. Those services are at 7:45 and 10:45. And then there's 57209 Allen Road in Slidell. That service starts at 9 a.m. sharp every Sunday morning. I can't wait to see you in person. Make sure you drop by and worship with us. See you right back here next Sunday morning at 7 a.m.